Welcome again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session, encounter with truth, beauty, love, authenticity, expression, harmony, expansion, creativeness, sensuality, healing, elevation, anything and everything that you feel is important to you, that you feel attracted to, and also everything that comes with this human experience that we may not find so pleasant and yet is part of the experience. And I feel called today to talk about this. A realization that I had today from many years of observation and connected to a conversation that I had yesterday with my mother as she asked me a few questions. And I think it's important to be both realistic and optimistic. These two mindsets, we could call them, are very complementary. They're not exclusive from one another. And the way that I apply them for my journey is in the following way. I try to be as realistic as possible as to what my present life looks now in the now moment, which can be very different to how it may look from 1 hour, 5 hours from now, or from tomorrow. But at this very moment, for example, I can say as a fact that there is a tumor in my body. And I can say that in a very realistic way, adding no story, no drama, no emotion to it. That doesn't mean that that same fact at times may affect me emotionally or activating me emotions and thoughts that are not pleasant, and some of them are non-constructive. But once they're active, there is a meaning always behind for them to be active, and I can always make the most of them. Continue to observe my inner world, and normally what comes from the unconscious, because if something comes out of the sudden that I was not consciously looking for or intended to experience or feel, something in the unconscious got active. That's a wonderful opportunity for me to stay with it and see what farther or deeper truths come with this activation. Instead of feeding it, there's a great difference. So like I said, it's very important to remain with what matter presents to us at this moment, because matter is a very important part of our human experience and being in this material world. So coming back to my example, there is a tumor in my body. I can also make two different statements, which is I have a tumor and there's a tumor in my body. If I say I have a tumor, I am more attached to this fact in my life. If I say that there is a tumor in my body, I'm neither really identifying fully with this body nor with the tumor. It's a more neutral affirmation or a statement. And the more neutral we go, the easier it is for us to be detached or unaffected by it. while at the same time we accept it, we honor it, we love it, we embrace it. Nothing doing with rejection. We're just helping ourselves go through the hardest and most unpleasant processes as humans in the easiest and most bearable and pleasant way. At least that's what I'm trying to do for myself, and that's what I help my clients do. Doesn't matter which kind of process, and it doesn't matter which kind of challenge, and it works for everything. So that's the realistic mindset as to the per now reality. Then I can perfectly combine that with being an optimist and saying, I am sure, or pretty sure, however comfortable you feel with it, that this tumor is going to go away very soon in the coming months. That gives me the opportunity of getting my mind out of the present moment where my life is more affected by the existence of this tumor, and I consciously choose to put my mind in a future where this tumor is gone. I don't know exactly how and I don't know exactly when, but I am consciously choosing to put my mind, and if I consciously put my mind, I put all of my being into another reality that is going to happen, and where life feels more pleasant to me as a human being. I cannot force that into happen, and my happiness today cannot be dependent on that happening. That's another trap. So I also embrace a more desirable future. I connect with it as much as I can and as I want to, because it feels wonderful. And at the same time, I don't reject or deny my present moment as being very beautiful as well, especially if I connect more with the lessons, with the opportunity that God Universe has given me at this time of my existence as Maria, to go deeper within and to make the most of this physical condition and human experience, to be liberated from things from my past, limited beliefs, and leave them behind once and for all. A few patterns that I was already working on, this experience is helping me a lot to leave them behind, because I'm ready now. And this experience from the very beginning, I am very proud of myself, with no pride. I'm very satisfied with how I have approached this, because I'm so aware of my beauty today and so aware of my strengths and my powers, my inner power, and of my inner challenges. The unconscious patterns, of which I'm very conscious today, that I am dragging around, I have been for many years, and that I have been actively working on them in terms of being more aware of them, so that it is easier for me to release them, and so that the liberation happens at some point with no forcefulness or obsessiveness involved into when or how that liberation is going to happen. Just making the most of the skills that I have today as a human and as the multidimensional being that I am, to bring some unconscious limiting patterns to an end. And I was so open from the beginning of this human experience that I'm going through since December 2023, that my two main limiting patterns, and which bring me low quite often, much less than they did years before, for sure, but I would still feel the drag from time to time, some of them every day or almost every day. Again, less frequently and less intense than years before, but still active. They are finally dying. I am transmuting them. And I have been able to do that through love. It has been a constant process of looking at every single circumstance in my life, either physically, metaphysically, so I mean physically of the matter body, metaphysically of my human personality, external circumstance, doing with the people I relate with, and doing with money, doing with my professional life, external circumstances, like we can call them, and which are very much conditioned and affected by our inner world and our beliefs and our recurrent thoughts and our emotions. We are either contributing to improve them in whichever way we want to improve them. This cannot be defined by anyone else. Would our personal circumstances look improved? So we're either improving them, or we're either getting them worse or keeping exactly as they are. The good news that in the end, because God Universe, as I perceive it, is pure peace and love in its essence, because non-manifested may look very different. For example, when we see a creature killing another creature, whether it's human or animal, or the elements destroying plants or whatever, we may not immediately perceive the love of God Universe through our senses, but when we look very deep and we connect with it, it's there. So if we understand that we're constantly being invited to come closer to the essence of God Universe, then anything and everything that is happening in our lives, it's here to help us to come closer to the truth of who and what we are. So in there is a great shift of our human self. When everything that happens to us, better said, for us, doesn't matter how unpleasant it may look or feel as a physical creature and conditioned by the education that we have received and the world that we live in, the moment we choose to make the right questions and statements, the closer we are to bring those unpleasant experiences to an end, or to go through them in a much more bearable, acceptable, and even beautiful way. Because we're in the process of learning, and we're in the process of transmuting, and we're in the process of becoming something greater. We're creating by leaving behind things such as beliefs and patterns that we are constantly feeding on a day-to-day basis or weekly basis or however they manifest. By doing that, we're leaving space behind for consciousness to expand and for us to experience more peacefulness, more perspectives that come with wisdom, more joy that comes up naturally from a peaceful state of being, creativeness, because we're all creators. We all have these artists, creators, we all have these gifts of expressing our essence and our beauty and our uniqueness in a specific form, in the material world, in the physical realm. So the moment that something happens that it's non-desired by us, and we ask immediately, we acknowledge if suffering comes in, oh my God, I'm experiencing anxiety, oh my God, I'm experiencing frustration and sadness or whatever, and also the thoughts of, I can't bear this, why is this happening to me again, am I cursed, I can't stand this life, I can't stand people, I can't stand this world, I am too weak, I can't deal with this anymore, I don't want to be in touch with this anymore, I hate myself, I hate these people, I hate my body, in any way, any thoughts and emotions that come up with something unpleasant, something appearing into our existence, someone leaving us, someone that we really like, romantic, sexually, not wanting to be with us not being able to find a fulfilling job, us being kicked out of a job that we like, or a job that even if we don't like, brings us money to pay our bills, our bodies having an accident and us experiencing from either the outside or the inside the consequences of that accident, people bad mouthing us being incapable of expressing ourselves in an artistic way, any number of things that most humans find difficult to deal with and find non-pleasant. If something arises in the form of suffering, or why can I bring this obsessiveness and this addiction to an end, that's another typical one. The moment we don't reject whatever comes out and gets active with us in terms of thoughts and emotions, first we stay with that, and we don't fall into that melodrama, which is very natural for the kind of psychological conditioning that we have gone through in this life. We embrace that, we stay as neutral as we can, observing this human ego of us that is reacting to a personal circumstance. And once it has calmed down, then we ask this question: what is this present situation? What is the universe trying to teach me here? What am I trying to heal through this suffering? And how can I best do it? And be very open to receive the answers for that, because they're going to come from within. You're going to have revelations inside as to, oh my God, I never thought of this way. Oh my God, I never realized how important this is to me, or never realized how painful this is to me. And also it's going to come from outside. Suddenly in a film that you're watching, talking to a friend, something that you see on the street, on the floor, in nature, anywhere, the whole universe everything is connected energetically. So when you are fully open to come closer to the truth, which is love and which is peacefulness and which is natural expression of its individual, you're going to find the answers sooner rather than later. If you're closed and you remain in a suffering state, whether you know that you're doing that or not, when you shut yourself down, you shut yourself to healing, you shut yourself to transforming, transmuting, and expanding. And I don't recommend that for anyone, because there's nothing, from my perspective again, as delicious as feeling free and experiencing love and all the things that are connected to love and freedom. Experiencing that as a human is huge to me. There's nothing greater than that, and it doesn't matter what the personal circumstances are. When you get yourself in no matter what personal circumstance to experience that, you're kind of mastering life as a human. And I clearly don't mean that in an arrogant way. I mean that in just a humble, empowered way. Yeah, so this is it, and this is me for today. Love you and my best wishes for your journey.